This quick behind the scenes video showcases the making of the perfect weapon for the Halloween Animotive Jam, offering some insight into what our Animotive production workflow looked like. A quick reminder that the format for the jam was that we broke up into 5 teams of 4, which were chosen randomly from a hat. Each team had 1 working day to produce a 30 to 60 second animated short film on the topic of Halloween, using Animotive as part of their production process. Our team, Hello Queens, consisted of Emily, primarily a 3D artist, Stefano, an AI developer, Loic, a Unity developer who was working remotely from France, and then me, Jamie, Animotive Senior Product Manager. Once we knew the brief was on the theme of Halloween, we began the creative process in the most appropriate way by brainstorming. Different members of the team brought different ideas until we arrived at our favourite idea, which was entitled The Perfect Weapon. The next step of the process was to get the idea down on paper, so I wrote a quick screenplay using Google Docs. More specialist screenwriting software like Final Draft and Celtex are available, but this was a quick and easy way that allowed our team to collaborate easily on the document in real time. After some production scheduling and production role assignment, our director Emily began mocking up some quick storyboards to help us visualize the shots. Other members of the team drafted an asset list and ensured that headsets and controllers were on charge for what would come next. I created the Animotive project and turned on the pro features so that we could have access to uncompressed audio and export video at high resolution. I created the project using Animotive's Dark World template, as that gave us a head start with some assets that we could incorporate into our film. I then deleted the assets that we didn't need so as to not consume unnecessary storage. I invited the rest of the team and assigned their production roles. This isn't a requirement, but would help each of us understand each other's roles when collaborating in a scene later in the process. Using the asset list, we began the process of sourcing the remaining 3D assets that we needed to make our idea come to life. We found some amazing 3D assets online that were available via Creative Commons licensing. Shout out to these amazing 3D artists in the video description. Some of the assets needed a little bit of reworking to suit our needs. For example, the cabin needed the layout modified slightly. Other assets were ready for use in Animotive straight away, once they were imported and configured via the asset library. Once we had our assets imported, we jumped into a couple of sessions to do some workshopping and blocking out the action within the cabin set. After lunch, we were ready to start shooting properly. I performed as both Jason and the female character using Animotive's Xsense integration. I also used Quest Pro to get the most expressive facial tracking for the female character. We captured all of the action with one Animotive scene, but used the take system to create different takes for each main shot within the film. After all the performances had been captured, we did a camera pass in which Stefano framed some static cameras for each take, as well as performing some handheld camera work and applying some depth of field in key moments. After the camera pass, we then ran a lighting pass in which Loic, our lighting artist for the production, modified the properties of the sun and positioned and finessed spotlights for each take. We had some fun with shadow play of the axe being raised, as well as placing a blue toned spotlight emitting from the computer screen to add a motivated light source, which we think turned out really well. Once we had camera, lights and action, it was time to export the various takes as MP4 files from Animotive, so they were ready for video editing. We exported an Ultra HD 3840 by 2160, which was maybe a bit overkill for this project, but meant that in future we would have the option to master in different resolutions if we needed to. For video editing, we used Adobe Premiere, but any similar video editing software could be used. During the edit, we realized that there were a couple of gaps here and there, but what was pretty neat was that we could jump right back into the Animotive scene and create a couple of quick takes and then export the shots we needed to fill the gaps very quickly. For sourcing audio, we used a combination of freesound.org as well as a horror music pack sourced from the Unity Asset Store. And for the audio mix, we just imported the various sound effects into Premiere, layered them into the timeline and adjusted some levels, and added some fades at various moments, like for example fading the outside ambient sound effects down as Jason enters the cabin. After cropping the video to a vertical aspect for social media platforms, we were done, and we're pretty pleased with the outcome. It's certainly not AAA, but to create this short 3D animated film in one day was very fun, and we also learnt a lot throughout the process, including plenty of insights that can help us improve Animotive to make it even smoother for the next Animotive Jam. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to join the Discord so you can vote for the perfect weapon.